You can't make your speech too accessible, because making your information clearer to understand helps everyone in your audience. Gone are the days where complexity and sophistication made you look like an expert. Today, clear is king. My wife served as co-chair for the Disabled Staff Network for the Scottish Government, and she has taught me plenty of things that I need to be thinking about, some of the challenges and obstacles that disabled people or neurodivergent people have when they're accessing information. And these are things I've had to learn and apply when I've been working with clients with disability or clients that are neurodivergent. And this is becoming something that's increasingly prevalent. And if you aren't serving these members of your audience, then you are minimizing your impact. And let's be crass, you are minimizing your income as well. If your message only suits a certain number of people, is only accessible to a certain number of people, you aren't making the most of your work. You aren't making the most of your message. So let's find out some simple tricks that you can use to make your information accessible for everyone, increase your impact, increase your income along the way. The first consideration is don't use different fonts and different colors on your slides and on your handouts. I think when PowerPoint and other tools started coming out, we went through a little bit of a craze of look at all these different things we can do, look at all these different things that we can put on it. Sometimes you can get a little bit too playful and creative with PowerPoint or on Canva. And actually having a lot of different stuff like a children's painting is really messy and awkward for anyone to be reading and looking at. But it's especially difficult for people who might have a disability or might have some neurodivergence that makes that more difficult. In particular, one of the big things that my wife notices being dyslexic is it makes it really hard for her to read documents at work if people have been using different fonts. Clear is king. I said that before. Keep it simple. Use one font, a basic color scheme. Less is more. The second consideration is, can you make things in your speech audio only? Do you have a video or a graphic that you are leaning on, but then you can't explain that in words? I encountered this challenge when I had a client who was visually impaired. And when I was running workshops in our group coaching program, I had to think, if I use a video and they can't see it, are they going to get lost in the workshop material because they can't see the video or because I brought up some diagram or chart? So I always had to think, is this something where if I do choose to use it, can I give a satisfactory audio only explanation? If you have members of your audience who are visually impaired, are you able to translate what they might not be able to see so well into words that they can clearly visualize and understand in their heads, even if they can't necessarily see it on a screen or something you might be demonstrating on the stage? I've got one more accessibility tip to share with you, but just before I do, I want to return to this key message of the speech: clear is king. Today we're looking at how you make your speeches clearer from an accessibility point of view, but there are so many different ways to make your speeches clearer, because when the message of your speech is clear, the audience are more likely to implement it, and then you're going to have the impact you want from your speeches. If you're looking to make your speeches more clear, then my Amplify Spark Your Speeches online course can help you. This is a 12-month course which will teach you different frameworks, different principles, and different techniques to nail that message of your speech, to give your audience the best chance of implementing the material that you share and maximizing that impact you have every time you get on stage. This is a self-study program. You do it in your own time. And today I want to offer you a $1 trial for the program. You can come into the first month of the course, experience the content, see how it works, and see if it's going to be right for you and your speaking journey going forward. After the first month, you can decide if it's right for you, fantastic. You can stay on for the other 11 months. If it's not quite what you're looking for, that's fine. You've still learned something that's going to help your speaking, and it's only cost you $1 to do so. To access your $1 trial, I've put the description to the online course in the video description below. If you click this, those will take you through to our information page. There you'll find out all about what you can learn in the program, how it's going to help you if you're speaking, what you're going to get out of it. And to access that $1 trial, use the code YouTube at checkout. YouTube, it's where you've come from, all lowercase, all one word. That takes your first month subscription down to $1, and then you can come in and see how it's going to help you make your speeches so much clearer. Speaking of clear, I've now got one more accessibility tip to share with you in this video. The third tip is, can you offer a virtual or hybrid option for any speech, any workshop, any meeting that you run? Because you might have members of your audience who are wheelchair users and find it difficult to get into a physical venue. You might have members of your audience who have extreme social anxiety and find being around people really difficult. You might have members of your audience who are autistic and get overstimulated by being in those big crowds. In today's world with the technology that we have, honestly, there is no excuse for not offering a virtual or hybrid option. You can have a laptop plugged into Zoom or Teams. Everyone has a laptop, everyone has Zooms, everyone has Teams. They aren't always the best solution. If you are wanting that optimal solution, then you're going to think about things like additional cameras, additional microphones, but there is no excuse for not even trying to have it. We live in the technology age, and having that virtual and hybrid option is only going to increase the participation in your events. If someone is given the choice between attending the event physically or not at all, well, they might sway towards not at all. But if you offer that middle road, that middle ground of something virtual, hybrid, you're only going to increase the participation and engagement in anything that you do. Because let's face it, you've still got to go up on stage and you've got to put the same amount of work and effort into presenting, regardless if it's just to a physical audience or if you've got that virtual and hybrid audience as well. So why not maximize your effort? Why not get the most bang for your buck? Why not be able to reach as many people as possible with your message? That really is a no-brainer for me. And when you make your speeches more accessible, when you start to think about how am I going to make my information clearer, easier to understand, easier to implement, you are going to have that increased influence through the implementation. You're going to expand your message to more people. You're going to have a greater impact with your work. And what speaker doesn't want to be able to do that?